Imagine you need to dig a long trench. You could use a massive, slow-moving diesel excavator, or you could use a high-speed, lightweight rotary trencher. Both machines move dirt. Both have engines. Both accomplish a goal. But if you swap their jobs, you are going to have a very bad time. That is exactly what we are looking at when we compare CNC milling machines to CNC routers. We are going to look at the anatomy of these machines, the way they handle speed and power, the physical space they take up, how they manage the mess they make, and exactly how precise they can actually get. Rigidity and construction. Here is what matters first. Weight, mass, absolute, unyielding rigidity. When you look at a true CNC milling machine, you are looking at thousands of pounds of cast iron. They are built like bank vaults. The bed moves, the spindle moves, but the frame itself is designed to absorb massive amounts of vibration. When you drive a carbide end mill into a block of hardened steel, the physical forces trying to push that tool away from the metal are immense. If the machine flexes even a tiny fraction of a millimeter, the tool chatters. Chatter destroys the surface finish, breaks very expensive tools, and ruins the part completely. Now, look at a CNC router. Most routers use a gantry system. You have a large flat table, and a bridge moves back and forth over it, carrying the spindle motor. This bridge is usually made of aluminum extrusions or welded steel tubes. It is vastly lighter than a mill. It has to be lighter because it needs to move very quickly over a very large area. Because routers are primarily designed to cut wood, plastics, and sometimes soft aluminum, they simply do not encounter the same violent resistance that a mill does. The cutting forces are significantly lower. If you tried to cut tool steel on a standard gantry router, the entire frame would flex and shake itself apart. The rigidity just is not there. Speed versus torque. Let us talk about what happens at the actual cutting edge. This is where the tractor versus sports car analogy really makes sense. A CNC milling machine is the tractor. It has a spindle designed for relatively low speed, but massive torque. When you are machining hard metals, you cannot just spin the tool as fast as possible. If you spin a tool too fast in steel, the friction generates so much heat that the tool simply melts or snaps in half. You need a slow, deliberate rotation that has enough twisting force to physically peel away thick chips of metal. We are talking about spindle speeds often ranging from 2,000 to 10,000 revolutions per minute. A CNC router is the sports car. It relies on blistering speed. Wood and plastic do not need a huge amount of torque to cut. In fact, if you try to cut wood with a slow-spinning tool, you will just splinter and tear the fibers. If you try to cut plastic too slowly, the tool pushes the material instead of actually slicing it. You need the cutting edge to shear through the material so incredibly fast that it leaves a perfectly clean edge behind. Therefore, router spindles spin extremely fast. We are talking 15,000 to 24,000 revolutions per minute, sometimes even higher than that. They lack the low-end grunt of the mill, but they make up for it with sheer velocity. If a router spindle binds up in a tough knot of wood, it might bog down because it lacks torque. Work, envelope, and size. The shape of the things you want to make directly dictates the shape of the machine you need to buy. A milling machine is built for chunky, three-dimensional objects. Think about engine blocks, custom gears, or suspension components. These parts are not usually very wide or very long, but they have significant height. Therefore, a mill has a relatively small footprint in the X and Y directions. You might only get 2 or 3 feet of travel left to right, but it has a massive amount of travel in the Z-axis, which is the up and down movement. You can put a tall steel vise on the table, clamp a thick block of aluminum inside it, and still have plenty of room for a long drill bit to come down from the top. Routers are the exact opposite. They are built for the chic goods world. Think cabinetry, custom signs, furniture, and boat building. The raw material comes in large, flat panels. So, a typical CNC router has a massive work area. A 4-foot by 8-foot bed is incredibly common, and many industrial models are much larger than that. You need that sprawling X and Y footprint to lay down a full sheet of plywood or medium-density fiberboard. However, Because you are cutting flat sheet goods, you do not need much vertical space at all. The Z-axis travel on a router is usually very shallow, often just 6 to 8 inches of total movement. You could never fit a tall engine block under the gantry of a standard router. Tooling and debris management. Making parts means making a mess, and the type of mess dictates exactly how the machine has to deal with it. Milling metal generates a massive amount of heat and heavy, razor-sharp metal chips. To deal with this, CNC mills use liquid. They are almost always equipped with flood coolant systems. This system pumps a continuous high-pressure stream of milky-looking fluid directly onto the cutting tool. This fluid does two vital jobs simultaneously. It lubricates the cut to reduce friction, and it rapidly cools both the tool and the part. It also acts like a high-pressure hose, violently washing the heavy metal chips away from the cutting area so the tool does not accidentally recut them. Recutting chips is an incredibly fast way to destroy a tool. Routers operate in a completely different environment. Wood and plastic do not usually require liquid coolant. In fact, soaking a sheet of expensive cabinet plywood in liquid would completely ruin it. Instead of heat, the main enemy of a router is sheer volume. Routing wood creates an absolute blizzard of sawdust. If you do not clear that dust immediately, it packs tightly into the cut path. This packed dust causes the tool to overheat rapidly and can easily start a fire. So, routers rely entirely on high-volume airflow. They use large dust shoes wrapped completely around the spindle, connected to highly powerful vacuum dust collection systems. The goal is to suck away the chips and dust the exact millisecond they are severed from the material. When a router cuts aluminum, you might occasionally see a tiny mist of lubricant used, but you will almost never see the heavy flood coolant used on a mill. The geometries of the tools are different too. Accuracy and tolerances. Bottom line, precision means entirely completely different things in different industries. When we talk about CNC milling machines, we are talking about microscopic accuracy. Aerospace parts, medical implants, and complex mold making require components to fit together absolutely perfectly. A decent CNC mill can hold tolerances measured in the 10,000ths of an inch. That is a fraction of the thickness of a single human hair. The massive rigid frame, the high-quality linear rails, and the incredibly tight ball screws all work together in harmony. They guarantee that when the computer tells the tool to move exactly 1 inch, it moves exactly 1 inch every single time, regardless of the physical resistance of the dense metal it is pushing through. CNC routers are also remarkably accurate machines, but they live in a very different neighborhood of precision. When you are making a set of kitchen cabinets or routing a wooden sign, being off by 1,000th of an inch literally does not matter. The wood itself will expand and contract far more than that just based on the ambient humidity in the room. A good router will easily hold tolerances of a few thousandths of an inch over its massive table. That is perfectly accurate for anything made of wood or plastic, and completely acceptable for many basic aluminum plate components. Final thought, both of these machines represent the peak of automated fabrication, but they serve entirely different masters. The mill owns the demanding world of hard metals, deep complex cuts, and flawless unyielding precision. The router dominates the fast-paced world of large format sheet goods, extreme cutting speeds, and massive material removal. Knowing which one you actually need is simply a matter of knowing exactly what you intend to build.